All right, here we are on episode 13 on this Friday afternoon.
So technically, it's Friday the 13th.
Friday, the episode 13th.
Well, technically it's the 12th, so we're only off by a day.
Off by a day.
Wow.
So maybe we'll put this up tomorrow so that we're just right in there with 13, 13, 13, negative, negative, negative. We should have skipped this one. But here we are. I'm excited.
We had a very eventful week.
Very eventful week. A lot of people said we would make it to this point in our podcast. They said we'd stop at 4, but here we are in the 13th episode. So take that to the bank.
You said that exact quote last episode.
No, I didn't.
Quote me. Someone go back, send me an email and say that Abram did it for the next episode. Exactly like that. Take it to the bank. I believe it's exactly what you said.
I did not say take it to the bank either.
What'd you say?
I don't remember, but it wasn't even close to that. But listen, I'm excited. We are living in the woke nation right now. Everybody's woke up to the wokeness and the relevance.
I think they call it the woke movement.
The woke, yes, we're part of the woke movement. So I'm excited to be bringing this podcast to you with my eyes now awakened or awoken. Who knows?
My eyes are tired.
Oh, go figure. We're only a minute into this podcast and Brittany is already complaining about being tired.
Things I've known about.
Let's just cut to it. We'll cut to it. Things.
No joke. What have you done today then, Britt?
Today, well, I woke up and came here, did the slides for the service on Sunday. Then Abram was like, Brittany, I forgot to tell you. I want to go back to bulletins, so we're going to do the bulletins too.
We
So I had
weren't
to
gonna
make
talk
the
about this,
bulletins. And then I listened to you guys talk for about an hour about pointless stuff. Now we're here.
Talk to him about another hour about pointless stuff.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
what you're trying to say?
No, I like this.
I think we're on the verge of kicking her off this podcast.
We're getting close. We're getting close. But here we are, and yeah, I'm excited. Life's been pretty good. We're definitely in this woke culture, and trying to get Brady to wake up is a little harder.
That is a very true statement. That's
Actually, I'm
cool.
a very light sleeper. That.
I don't think it's the woke they're talking about.
I know, but
we are going back to normal. I've been in dear prayerful mode here lately, and I feel like God has called us to go back to normal. Andy Bashir, our governor, said we get back to 50% in our capacity, and so this will be our last Sunday doing 2 services. We'll be going back to 1 services. We'll be going back to normal services: Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Bulletins.
This week is our last
all that stuff.
abnormal week.
Yep, last one. So we're excited to get this over with and get back to normal.
Although it did kind of serve as a good purpose because we were able to, we were like kind of, playing with the idea of having 2 services anyway.
Yeah, we were
Wednesday morning, so it kind of helped us like see what it looks like.
Yeah, we're running at such a pace that 2 services is probably not going to be too far down the road.
yeah.
Probably
Anyway,
next
yeah.
year,
Which is
but
awesome.
So yeah, but it worked as a good
Now we
purpose.
know.
But we're back to normal
Now we know.
this week.
what have you guys been doing this week, by the way?
Oh, we got to take a trip to Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
But I thought you were working all week. I thought that's why you're so tired today.
No.
No.
Oh, I'm
We drove 4 hours yesterday, so.
We
know,
drove.
Andrew
You
drove.
mean I drove?
Andrew
What
drove
did you do?
4 hours.
First off, what do y'all do in the car?
We listen to music.
What kind?
I talk a lot.
Anything.
Andrew doesn't.
I like to play
Andrew-
a game where I go through all the songs on my phone, and
How many of them are Disney inspired?
Oh, there's a couple.
Coco.
Coco's on there.
I
I
Poco
got some.
Loco. Ooh, Poco Loco.
You don't speak Spanish, so anyway, there's some Hannah Montana on there.
True.
A lot of
Andrew is a
SpongeBob
Hannah
on there.
Montana fan.
Are you?
Not really.
Is that your age? That was kind of.
That was our
Good
age,
music.
yeah.
That was good music. Anyway,
I was even Stevens era.
we played a game where we turn. So I'll turn on the hit a playlist and I'll hit shuffle, and the first person to mess up the lyrics, I'll skip the song. So it turned out we ended up playing like the first lyric of every song because Brittany messed them up. So
I'm great at singing.
we didn't get to listen to a lot of music. There was a lot of changing the songs. But anyway, it was still fun. It was a fun car ride. It was a little bit of traffic, but it was smooth,
Yeah,
very
not
peaceful.
bad.
Are people more cautious? I mean, people are still cautious when you go out in the world masked.
I mean,
No.
not really. I don't know. Did you tell them we went to Gatlinburg? I was
Yeah,
gonna
we
say
went
that.
to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and it was literally.
But Sevierville's
everybody
the
was
hot
out.
spot right now. They say.
Sevierville.
I don't care what
No.
you call it.
Sevierville? No.
Sevierville.
I looked it up. You know, I did my.
I don't know what it
Yeah,
was.
it's a hot spot right
I don't
now.
know what it was, but let me tell you, we left on Monday and we got back yesterday, and it was
Amazing.
It was
People wear masks?
no,
No.
it was actually the people. There was actually probably, I don't know the exact number, but there was probably like less than like 50 people the entire trip that we came in contact with that had masks on.
And there's a lot of people in Gatlinburg.
It was almost
There's
like
a lot of people?
oh yeah,
tons of people.
a lot of people. Just
And-
crowd the strip and all that stuff. There was a lot of people.
But honestly, it was just really nice to
Restaurants were
see
packed.
because I'm a people person. I hate when I like to be around people.
Really, shocker.
Yeah, I just like to be around people. I like to do stuff like clean when people are around. I'm melancholic. Melancholic. Yeah, that word. I'm that word. And I just like to be around people. So it was really nice to see people smiling. It's like you're outgoing. You like to be
I
around
don't know if it
people.
does or not. I think it's calm.
I think it is too.
Like
I think it is too.
Maybe I'm not Malachani. I can't even say
You can't
that
say
word.
the word. Chances are you
But
probably are.
anyway, it was just nice to see people out and doing stuff because right now our state is a little different than Tennessee. We're getting there, which has been nice.
That is true, but we did have a very it was a refreshing trip because it was like going back to like normal life. Like
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
restaurants were some of them were still kind of freaked out, like going to like half capacity and stuff like that. But for the most part, we didn't get to not do anything we wanted to do because of the virus.
I'm glad you brought it back to family.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, that's interesting. We've been in this series called, we're doing a 2-week series called Fresh Air, and, so many people, especially during this pandemic, people are getting burnt out. They're being burnt out on social media, they're burnt out physically, emotionally, some people are spiritually getting burnt out,
I would agree with that. I've seen a lot on Facebook. I'm getting off here. I'm done with all this stuff. I'm signing off. Here's my number if you need me. Which don't put your number on Facebook. That's just not a smart.
What's the purpose of that, though?
I don't know.
What's the purpose of Facebook? Why are people on Facebook?
It's a great question.
When I was in college, we got on there because it was only college students, and we said to ourselves, this is going to help us stay connected to our old friends from school.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And all of a sudden, like Mark Zuckerberg opened it up to everyone. I won't say older people, but that's what I was thinking. The older people come in and they go, cool, we'll research our old people. And they get on there, and all of a sudden, it turned into just, hey, let's stay connected, and hey, what's on your mind today? Hey, let's share a picture of what you had for dinner. Now it's like people are making it something really crazy.
It is insane. It is, and then now like major companies are getting on board with it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking like here recently. We're talking in the last like 5 years or 10 years or so. But
No,
still,
but
it's
really, it
crazy.
has been.
And social media is what's been driving politics, it's driving laws, it's driving our culture. And here's what's crazy about it is it's not just Americans on social media. Here's what I've not been able to get this to anybody's head. People go, oh my goodness, we're getting pressured to cancel Paw Patrol from our fans. Well, okay, no. Who are you getting pressure from? You're getting pressure from social media. Who is it that's telling you that on social media? A, it's either robots, because they can reproduce a bunch of fake accounts.
Yeah.
Or number two, it's people that are not even from America who's pressuring you, right? There's like, we cannot just
It's
panicked
not American Facebook.
it's worldwide. Yeah, it's worldwide. So
It's
there's
a
people from
worldwide.
all over the place. There's all these different things, algorithms. So you just have to be very careful on that kind of stuff and not get overwhelmed just because there's a lot of noise on social media. I always say this: get off Facebook, walk around your town, and see if anybody's freaking out. It'll blow your mind that nobody's even worried about anything in town.
Right.
But then on social media, it's like, oh my goodness, like it's like a third world.
And we saw this at least in Gatlinburg because I mean we weren't on social media probably at all.
Yeah, I
during our
couldn't
trip.
get a hold of them. I was trying to get a hold of them. I had a very important question I had to ask them. They wouldn't even answer their phones.
But that's probably Brittany's fault.
Oh,
Anyway,
that's my
what I was saying is it was a very peaceful thing. People were acting normal. People weren't like if you walked up on somebody and like accidentally like rubbed their shoulder while you were walking or something, not rubbed, like bumped into
I
their
swear,
shoulder.
if y'all brought this thing back to family,
Like it wasn't like an issue.
I
you
didn't
know what
touch
I'm saying?
nobody.
I didn't like purposely walk up and like shake people's hands. There was no social distancing. That's what I'm trying to get
I
at.
know, I can
But
hear.
people didn't like.
Abram's like scooting.
He's
far
scooting
away
over
right now,
at the
so.
table.
But I'm not.
Yeah,
It's on
but
video.
he's scared. He's scared.
We are on video. You can watch us at Abram Crozier Ministries on YouTube.
on YouTube. If I can get 100 subscribers, I can change the URL.
Really?
Yeah.
How many you got?
A lot.
You're not at 100. This is a very interesting episode so far. What'd you do this week? You did something.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, I've worked. Yesterday, I finally was able to get a day off. I haven't had a day off since January of 2019, I believe it was. Yesterday we went and Becky was on vacation. We were actually going to take a really big vacation. We've been saving up for it. We're really excited about it. We're going to go out. And the pandemic happened. My wife got nervous. She's a nurse. Gets nervous. Blah blah blah. And then what happened was we decided on our vacation week that we were going to take one day and go see my brother. And
it was kind of funny. Abram tells us, I'm leaving for tomorrow to go on vacation. He calls on Wednesday and said, I'm leaving tomorrow to go on vacation. I said, oh cool, when are you coming back? Saturday? He said, no, we're coming back tomorrow. I was like, well, that's not a vacation.
One day trip.
That's not a vacation.
We left real early, got back real late, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. West Virginia is a fun place to be.
It's a nice drive too.
It's a nice drive. It's nice country roads.
Is that like the next state over? Like how we went to Tennessee? What?
This is a college graduate.
No, I'm being serious. Isn't it like down? Or is it up?
Do you know what the map looks like?
West Virginia. Okay.
It's not west, though, it's east.
I know. Listen to me.
What is wrong with you people?
Yes, it's the next state over.
Okay, cool.
Kentucky borders it.
But it was fun. I haven't seen him in a while, and it was fun. They have a pool, so my first pool day of the year.
You're a little red.
And the last pool day.
You're a little red.
Yeah, you are red.
First off, we call it tan, and second of all, it's a very weird time to be talking about skin tone. So let's take a chill pill on that.
You got burnt. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh my goodness, I'm on a roll. I have so many opinions on this thing that was happening in the world, but I'm trying my best not to say a word about it because it's getting people. Here's what's happening. People are voicing their opinions and they're getting canceled. We call it the cancel culture, where if somebody just voices an opposing opinion, people want your life destroyed. It is the scariest thing in the world. And I was doing research on this last night because it was very, very concerning to me. We're seeing very dangerous speech. We're seeing a militant group called Antifa, who is really working to destroy the fabric of our nation through violence.
They're already doing it in Seattle.
How so?
Have you been seeing this?
How so?
Oh, they're taking over like I don't know where exactly what they did.
The police.
Yeah, it was a precinct.
They're
they
calling
took
it
over.
autonomous zone.
Yeah, that's what they're
Yeah.
calling it. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Which is just inside the city, and they're
It's like
just,
6 blocks, I believe, and
they're
they're policing it themselves.
yeah, they're just taking it over.
I'm like, yeah, go ahead, try it.
What?
So crazy. So we have this militant group. We have people that are trying to divide the country. We have very dangerous speech. We have it's just a Wild Wild West type of atmosphere. And what happens when that stuff goes on is it's very similar. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but it's very similar to how Hitler took over Germany. Right? Dangerous speech. You had the militant group, the what is it, SS, whatever they were called.
Yeah.
So you have all these different things that are they're very similar to me. This isn't the way to do it, right? And every company is sounding the same. Every company is saying the same phrases and words, and every company is doing a certain thing.
It's almost like they're copying and pasting it and changing their name. Like
Yes.
putting like, hey, we as this company, and then they're saying the same exact thing that everybody else is
And
saying.
if a CEO like CrossFit CEO gets on there and says, he makes a joke about it, they go, we're done with you. Cancel. We're not following you anymore. It's scary to me to think that
We're seeing this, but we're not just seeing this on like, CEO levels. We're seeing this on like
Everything.
like professional sports players levels.
Announcers.
And what you see now with this big news that NASCAR just released, what we're seeing now is a lot of drivers are now quiet. Like they're not saying anything.
Well, they're letting the one guy speak.
They're letting
for
one,
everybody.
they're just letting it speak. Whether they agree with it or not, I have got no idea. But
And I don't know. It's just a very scary thing. And here's why it's so scary. There was this priest that dealt with the Holocaust, right? He was in the Holocaust, whatever. And he wrote a poem. It's a very famous poem. And it was like, first they came for the trade unionists, but I didn't speak up because I'm not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews. I didn't speak up because I'm not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak. And I started thinking about that, and I'm thinking, you know what? At first they came for the police officers. I didn't speak up because I'm not a police officer. Then they came for the CEOs and business owners. I didn't speak up because I'm not a business owner. Then they came for the entertainment, but I didn't speak up because I'm not an entertainer. But at some point they're going to come after me. Right? At some point they're going to say, all right, the Bible is offensive. The Bible is intolerant. The Bible is discriminative, right? The Bible talks about slaveries and masters. The Bible talks about homosexuality. The Bible talks about all these different things. And at what point does our society go, I'm talking about your social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. At what point does all those go, all right, the Bible is...
I never thought about it, but they could be, the Bible and Christians in general could be the next on the...
They could do it very easily.
It could be tomorrow.
They could do it very easily.
Yeah. I didn't realize that. I don't ever think I looked at it that way.
But I just don't understand, from an outsider looking in on all this stuff, I'm quiet too, for the most part, but I don't understand why people are just bowing down to everybody. We as Christians do not have to
literally
bow
bowing down,
to anyone. We don't answer to Facebook, we don't answer to Twitter, we don't answer to Instagram, we don't answer to anybody other than God.
We're supposed to be in the world, but not of the world.
Exactly.
Right? In the world, but not of the world. The world's going to hate us. We're supposed to be set apart from the world. But for whatever reason, man, we are just right there along with it. It's very scary to me. Because even J.D. Greer, the president for the Southern Baptist Convention, he came out and said, no, of course, we need to support the Black Lives Matter thing. Not the political thing, but we should all be saying Black Lives Matter. I'm like, no. But this is the problem. Black Lives Matter has been, even if it was it wasn't. It was never meant for anything but to have this organization, which is a far left radical organization. And so we can't say it anymore. That word has been, it's like you just can't say it, right? Because it's what that word's associated with. And I use like Kleenex. When I want to get blow my nose, I say Kleenex. Kleenex is not the correct term.
No, it's a tissue.
It's a tissue.
Kleenex
but we
is a
say
brand.
Kleenex,
Yeah.
and it's a brand. Same thing with Band-Aid. If I scrape my knee, I say I need a Band-Aid. Well, no, you need a adhesive strip. We don't say adhesive strip. We say Band-Aids. It's marketing. And so Black Lives Matter has done this exact same thing. They have marketed this so that everybody said, and it's interesting because you go, well, of course Black Lives Matter. Like, yeah, yeah. But it's like, no, it's an organization. And they want that organization so that they can paint Black Lives Matter on the street. And you can't say, well, you can't put your organization on the street. No, you can't. It's Black Lives Matter. Like, of course Black Lives Matter, but you guys are pushing to the organization. And the organization, if you look at the organization, there's nothing biblical about that organization, right? So you have to be very careful on who you're supporting, because when you say, as a pastor, if I keep saying Black Lives Matter, and then somebody says, all right, I'm going to donate to this cause, who should I donate to? Oh, I'll donate to Black Lives Matter because my pastor keeps saying that word, and I agree with my pastor. Like, then they start donating to that organization, which that organization is donating to political things. They're buying NASCAR sponsors. They're doing all these different things as an organization to push their political views, to push the defunding of police, to push the affirmation of transgenders and queers. They're pushing these different things, and it's very dangerous. And it's a dangerous world we're living in right now.
And it puts Christians in a tough situation.
Puts us in a very tough situation.
Yeah. Like you said, at any moment it could completely turn for the worst, I think.
But also, I think what we've been doing here at Trinity is we haven't changed anything. We're just literally preaching what the Bible says.
Yes, which is love.
Yes.
I was gonna say a lot of the things like they say love, peace, and all this stuff, but that is the Bible.
Yes.
The Bible is love and peace, and Jesus offers all those things.
And what's happening is it's hard to have the conversation because that conversation has now been diluted, right? Now there should be a discussion on racism, and we should discuss how as the church we need to combat that racism. It almost seems like Sunday mornings are even more segregated because you have the black church, you have the white church, and all these different things. Like, how can we, stop that from happening? Yeah. But we can't say Black Lives Matter because of the organization, right? So let's go over another phrase. Let's do something like that. But what's happening now has been overtaken by a very scary group that's, they're looking to do some very scary things.
And it's really scary the fact that you start to see all these celebrities, major companies, like just kind of fall in line with it.
Toe the line or pay the price, and that's a scary thing to live. And you may even be sitting there going, but I don't agree with something that this person said, so like, of course you should cancel that guy. But when it comes back to you, when you say something, like you make a joke, or you say the wrong thing, or you say something out of just a moment of anger, or you say something that somebody deems offensive one day, like Dennis, you're going to be screaming a different little tune because
it's you that you're talking about.
Because it's you that, so you have to be very careful. I don't like the way that things are happening. I don't like the fact that they're trying to censor our history, right? They're trying to rewrite history. They're trying to. I heard that they want to rename half the army bases.
Well, there's 4, at least in the South, that I can name: Fort Benning, Fort Hood, Fort
Bragg,
Sill, Fort Bragg. Yeah, I don't know if Sill.
Here's the thing. I don't know who those names are. I don't care who their names are. It has never affected me one bit. It hasn't affected any of our soldiers. So why in the world do I care what the name is? Like, this is the thing that we have to get. Like, who cares? Does it really affect me? No, it doesn't. I don't care about it.
Well, also, I was gonna say, why is it a big deal now? And why are all these? Because I know that there's a politician that is wanting to get rid of all the Confederate statues in Capitol, I believe it is. I think it's the Capitol building. And there's like 11 of them or something like that. But they've been there for, hundreds of years. And they say that they've been advocating for these for hundreds of years, but why make it? Like I'm saying, it never affected anything now.
Yeah, it didn't bother people like before. So the question is, why is it there? What's the purpose of it? Is it there for art? Is it there for historical reasons?
Right.
Is it there because people are pushing an agenda? We have to ask those type of questions.
Is
those statues there just for hatred reasons? Then let's tear them down. If they're there for historical reasons or whatever the case is, we have to be very cautious of these things. We have to be very cautious. Very cautious.
History is history.
I saw. Change the subject. I saw.
Switching gears.
I saw. This is the craziest thing ever. I did not know. Cassius Clay.
Who is it?
Who was the boxer Muhammad Ali. His real name is Cassius Clay. Named after. I think he was named after the politician Cassius Clay in Kentucky. I just saw this. I think it was on the thing called Weird History. So you be the judge if that's accurate history. But supposedly Cassius Clay was an abolitionist, and so he was like really hardcore anti-slavery. If you have a chance, look this guy up. Cassius Clay, the politician, is one of the coolest stories about his fight to abolish slavery. Pretty interesting. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
You're not talking like
history.
You're not talking like
Weird history.
Muhammad Ali. You're talking the
I'm talking the
politician that he was named after.
Yeah.
Okay.
1800s, 1700s.
Say one more time for people in the back.
Cassius Clay.
Cassius Clay. Cool.
Anyway,
Good story.
I want to talk about some other things, but I'm gonna go ahead and pause it because I think if I get into it, we're gonna run out of time and I'll have to stop it.
We are coming up on a break here in a minute, so
We'll take a small break. We'll come back, talk about a few things.
we'll give Brittany some energy drinks or something. She's dozing off on us.
I'm not dozing.
Wake up!
I'm fine.
All right, we'll take a break.
God bless you.
See you.
All right, we are back. Second half of our podcast of Preaching Young, episode 13. Lucky number 13. On Friday. No, it's not Friday the 13th. It's Friday the 12th.
It's Friday episode 13th, but it's Friday the 12th. Real date.
There is, what should I say? If you're just tuning in.
If you're just tuning in, which is kind of strange. If you're just tuning in, go back and watch the first half. But
Yeah, first half.
if you're just tuning in, welcome.
Listen, we are.
If you dozed off the first half, welcome back.
Appreciate it. We have a lot of good things that are coming up here at our church that I'm excited about. It's been a slow process coming back in the church, and we were running at such a momentum that I was worried about how we would get started back into everything and where that would lead us. And we're still missing a lot of people because of the virus. We're still missing a lot of some of the older people that are still a little hesitant to come. Some parents that are still hesitant to come with their kids, but for the most part, things are starting to really improve and go back. The governor just said we could be back at 50% capacity, so we're going to be moving to one services here soon and starting our regular services Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, and so I'm very excited about that. But we are starting a brand new series on June 21st, not the 28th, the 21st, called Built to Serve, and I'm excited because
It's going to lead into Serve Week.
it's going to lead into Serve Week, and which is one of my favorite weeks. We did it last year.
Yeah, we started it last year.
Awesome. Serve Week is a week where we literally challenge our church to serve in some capacity in our city, right, in our community. where they can do
anything.
whatever.
And that could be anything.
Picking up trash, or some other things.
Cutting grass, mowing,
power washing for somebody.
But if physical labor is out the window, I mean, it could be praying for people,
Writing cars
to
to
people. It could be
making
anything.
someone dinner.
Making somebody dinner.
We encouraged a lot of things, and to start our prayer week, our serve week last week, we started it with a prayer walk.
Yeah, we'll do that same
We
thing.
probably will do that. Yeah.
This year as well, but.
So if you don't do a prayer walk as a church, it's a uniting. Is that the word for that? It brings your church together for a good week in the summer. Yeah.
It gets us focused on it gets us praying for the town, gets us mentally prepared for serving our community, and
it shows your what do you call it? You know, you're out in town doing things.
yeah, it shows that we're there.
People see a group of people walking down the street. At least
What y'all
it's
doing?
weird.
What y'all doing over there?
You can just be like, hey, we're at Trinity Southern Baptist Church.
Praying
Come
for
see
you
us.
guys. Yeah. Hopefully we won't be talking so much. We won't be doing prayer, but
Yeah, that's
Brittany,
true.
we'll have to make sure to remind Brittany that.
But sometimes you have to tell Brady to stop talking because. All right, so actually, I just heard somebody say that you should do your prayer walks. You should pray out loud when you do prayer walks. That way, it keeps you more focused on.
Speaking of prayer a lot, I went on a mission trip in Honduras. We went to this prayer hut thingy, like at this person's house, and they pray out loud.
Explain what a prayer hut is.
I don't know. It was like it was a person's house. It wasn't a prayer hut, but they called it a prayer meeting thingy.
Oh.
And they all pray out loud. Like one person will pray, like physically pray, and everybody else is praying out loud at the same time, saying different prayer.
I know Pentecost, dude.
It was when I first heard it, it was weird to wrap my head around. It was cool to be there, and I didn't speak any Spanish, so I'm like, I don't know what to do. Anyway, you said praying out loud.
I got attacked by some bugs.
Brittany did get
actually.
attacked.
We used to play the Pentecostal band. They were Pentecostal, and so
Here we go with the band again.
I was in
It's
a
glorious.
band.
They already know this. We already told them.
COG, Children of God.
I guarantee you, all you listeners out there, if you go to YouTube and listen up and look up Children of God,
COG.
Abram's not the first one.
you're
that
not
pops
gonna
up.
find it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just look up COG, Feel Much Better. That's one of our videos. And now it will lead you to just a load of songs.
Rabbit hole of-
Yes, you can get lost in it.
Okay, anyway, go ahead. Carry on.
We were doing this before internet was really big, so we were actually having to do it the hard way, touring and rocking and making a name for ourselves
Rocking
just
and
by
rolling.
word of mouth. We didn't
Rocking
have
and rolling.
we didn't have the marketing things that people have nowadays. They can just put up, Justin Bieber could just put it up on YouTube and become famous. We didn't have that, or the Jonas Brothers. We didn't have that ability.
You did have merch.
Let me ask you this: do you think if you did have that ability that you'd be famous right now?
Am I not famous?
No.
Like I said, if you go to
I have a
YouTube,
podcast.
and type in Children of God, you're not gonna find Children of God on COG. Not
Anyway.
gonna find it. Not gonna find it. It doesn't exist.
Well, Google us. We have a Wikipedia account.
Do you really?
Sometimes they take it down because you're not supposed to do your own Wikipedia.
So
Anyway,
you didn't have
so
any
you-
fans to do that for you. Interesting.
So anyway, listen.
What were you saying before I interrupted you? I'm
Well,
sorry.
I was trying to explain this to you. We played with the Pentecostal band. They said, look, will one of y'all lead the prayer? And I said, we were like, yeah, sure. So one of us starts leading the prayer. And that's sure enough, same thing happened. Everybody started praying. I'm like, what in the world's happening?
It's weird, isn't it?
But it also makes a lot of sense because it also makes a lot of sense. If we're praying together, especially if you're in a prayer meeting, right? You're supposed to be praying you're supposed to be crying out to God for your own thing. It really makes a lot of sense.
Well, sometimes
in our
when
culture-
somebody else prays, I pray in my own head, like a separate prayer.
Separate prayer,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like
Same
I'll pray
thing.
my own thing and
Yeah.
then just kind of time it up when they're done or whatever.
Yeah.
But when they did it all out loud at the same time, it caught me off guard. Not that it was weird. I mean, it was just kind of interesting.
I
It
think
was
the
a cool
whole
concept.
trip was amazing to see how other people worship the same God we do, and
Are they
how
considered
much-
Baptist?
Yes, the
I think
church
so, yeah.
group that we went with is considered Baptist, but
It might have been because they went through a
Baptist.
organization here that was
Yeah.
a Baptist organization, and then
I just thought it was neat because I don't think we take it as serious. Does that make sense? Or as I don't
Are you
know.
saying we or Abram?
No, not Abram. I'm saying as Christians in the United States.
No,
I
you're
just
exactly
feel
right.
like they.
it did feel really real there. Like it felt really
And
like
sometimes
Because it is not forced. It is
Yeah.
because when they're meeting, it's not because
it's not routine. They haven't done it their whole life. I mean, they're choosing to do it.
and they're going against a lot of their family. They're going against a lot of the culture. It's not culturally acceptable to be a Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that was just really cool.
Yeah.
In our world, we spend so much time, energy in creating really it's a play on emotions, but it's creating an atmosphere that's entertaining,
Mhm.
right? And so when you do have church,
becomes more entertaining.
Yeah, it's entertaining, and you're like, well, what can I get out of this? But when they're having church, they're going, no, I need my soul saved. I need to be free. I need to be free from my sin. This is God that saved me and saved my soul, and it's a different world.
You can feel it,
which is
different.
part of the issue with American churches. You're talking about, and we talked about this a little bit last episode or last podcast, but in episode 12, you can go back to preaching on Anchor FM or preaching on Spotify or of course on Abe Quarter Ministries on YouTube. Woo!
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is. But we talked about last year, the Southern Baptist Convention, it just showed their 13th year of decline in membership, attendance, and baptisms. And at some point, we're going to have to sit there and go, okay, what happened 13 years ago that started, what was the movement that started 13 years ago that all the churches started to adopt?
Praise and worship.
I don't know, was it praise and worship? Sounds like it.
Yeah.
So is that working? Is that entertainment atmosphere working? We're a church in a rural area where we have a piano and an organ. We sing traditional hymns, right? Traditional service. But yet our numbers are growing at big pace.
Exponential numbers.
Now we've cut out a lot of the older traditional things that makes no sense, like birthdays and
children's church.
having children go up and talk to them for forever. But my point is, like, at some point we have to sit there and go, all right, what's working, what's not working, and why is it not working? Why is this working? Is it the area? Is it this? Is that? We have to start asking these questions because, is it the pastor? That's a harder one to get your head around. But I even saw a story. I saw a story the other day on KentuckyToday.com where this one pastor, Tim W. Roberts, I believe is his name. He was talking about how wonderful his they were talking about how successful his service has been, and they haven't stopped at all. They've been doing drive-in services. They've been doing all these different services. But man, they've been just going nonstop, and the church is booming and doing it. That's what we got to be doing.
Right, and I think a lot of churches the definition of insanity is doing things over and over again, the same thing, and we're expecting a different result. And I feel like churches are exactly doing that. Week in, week out, they're showing up to church, they're doing the same thing, the same programs that haven't worked for however long they've been doing them.
But maybe it did it at one time. And maybe in 1991, when you kissed the pig, it brought a bunch of people to your church.
Did someone do that?
Yeah, they used to do all of that. I guarantee somebody's done it recently. Guarantee.
Go ahead.
But those kind of gimmicks might bring them in for a moment.
Or they did at one time.
Or it did at one time. But people don't, that's not what's going to keep people there forever. The gospel's going to keep them there. Yeah. The gospel's going to sit there and change their souls and transform their souls and build those relationships with one another. Those relationships are also important too, which we lack in our churches, is that building of relationships. When you have a big church that's massive, it's too big to have relationships. You have to do small groups, which then almost defeats the purpose of the church. Or if you're so small that you guys only meet once a week, you're in each other's business, and so you don't even want to know what they're doing throughout the week. Then those relationships aren't there either. Yeah. So it's a balance.
Which we've talked about that since the beginning of our podcast. How we started our youth group and how it was just strictly relationships, and how there is a balance in church.
Yes.
The balance between everything you're doing.
And we have to stop overcomplicating church.
That too.
That's the biggest thing I've seen anywhere is the overcomplicating of the church, right? Where if I want to become a member, I have to ask, how do I become a member? Right? And they go, well, you have to go through this 10-step program. You have to go through this. You have to prove yourself. It's like, okay, well then I don't want anything to do with it, right? Well, how do I get baptized? Well, you got to go through a baptism class. It's like, well, okay, what's the Bible say about how to get baptized? What does the Bible say about becoming members? What's the Bible say about being part of a group? Like, these are all things that we are ignoring as a church, and we're paying the price for it. Unfortunately, we're paying the price for it. And so one of the things that we're doing with this series, though, is getting people back to a place where it's not just focusing on the church, but we're focusing on serving in our community, right? Because that's where the change is going to happen. When we're sitting there in our community, serving together, building relationships with one another, doing it for God's kingdom and not just for the church, because we're so inwardly focused that you miss everything.
Kicking back and relaxing everything?
Yeah, my back hurts. Here's the thing about my back. Because I was in a rock band and I used to rock
He was one of those people who you would see
We used to
headbanging.
flip the guitars
I'm
around.
surprised you never
We
broke
used to jump off.
your guitar.
I used to have a 6-foot Ampeg bass amp. We used to do backflips off of that thing. We were pretty cool. A lot of bands actually were influenced by us, I think.
Is that right? Do you think
So-
Skillet took some notes from you guys?
Well, you asked them
What do you call them?
if they remember that band from Kentucky that played with them that one time that they stole everything from. You asked them.
This episode is taking a turn, but it's okay.
It's funny.
You should label this episode as Abram's Glory Days.
Wow, okay.
There you go. Genius.
I very rarely talk about my glory days.
Every day.
It'd be too much for people to handle.
You have never not mentioned it.
You mentioned what?
Your glory days of being in a rock band.
Explain.
Every time
Because I feel the effects of it today.
Get ready for the next
Oh, I
segment.
gotcha.
Get ready for the next segment.
I gotcha. Things I've noticed about Abram. He likes to brag about his glory days.
Give me an example.
We walked in here today. He's like, oh, my back's hurting. It's because I used to rock so hard in a band called Cog. You know that band? You know that band, Brittany?
You ever seen it on
I never
YouTube?
told you about this band.
Look up Cog, Feel Much Better. We're on there.
Feel much better, huh? I'll make a
Wish my
note.
back would feel much better.
Thank you for that.
Brittany laughed at my joke. In case
Hey,
anybody
That was
wondered.
kind of funny. That was a good one.
Brittany never laughs at your jokes.
No,
Very
she
serious
doesn't.
person.
She thinks she's a serious person, but
I'm hilarious.
tell us a joke.
Don't have any.
No, come on.
Every hilarious person would have a joke.
Every hilarious, especially if you call yourself hilarious.
That's true.
You can't put me on the spot.
What? That's
I
what
think
you do.
our listeners know that I'm hilarious. They
Give us a
hear
joke.
me roast you guys all the time.
He's really running into a blank wall here.
I love it. No,
It's
come on.
fine. No, I don't have
Can you
one.
zoom in on our face?
So you're not. I can't.
Or emote.
Stop.
She really cannot think of a
Oh
joke.
wow,
I
that's
don't
embarrassing.
Come
have
on.
a joke. That's
Well,
We're on the air here.
I
We
think
can't
I'm
do it
hilarious.
all the
And when
time.
you say, "Abe, tell a joke," I'll always have a joke.
okay, tell us a joke. Abram.
All right, two people walk into a bar.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Oh. Like they ran into
You didn't. Thanks.
All right.
She didn't get it.
How much time was left when she forgot and actually got that? Okay, 10 minutes. All right, so
Coming from a hilarious person. That's what she calls herself.
yeah,
I am hilarious.
we're excited. Talking about bands, honestly, no joke. Talking about bands, we're very excited because
Oh yes, I'm excited.
One upper.
I'm not a one-upper.
Just came in.
explain what a one-upper is.
She just came in. Okay, so let's say Abram's in a band, and Abram says, "Yeah, we use my brother. This is just hypothetically. We use my brother's minivan to travel us around." Brittany comes
That's
over
not
and
hypothetical because I did. We
says, "Okay,
did.
well, Brittany comes. This is hypothetical now. Brittany comes over and says, I was in a band and we had a tour bus,
Yes.
and we went on tour without, you know what I'm saying?
Or I'll say, "Oh my goodness, I found $1 on the floor." She
Brittany
says,
says, "Well, I found
"Oh,
$20
I found
last
$20 last week."
It's one
She
upper.
one-ups me all the time.
Which there's a hilarious video that you just sent us the other day. It was so funny.
How many people were on there?
There were so many things. Negative Nancy was on
Negative
there.
Nancy.
One Upper was on there.
One-upper.
I don't remember what else was on there. But it was a funny video. And
I was like, Brittany's most a lot of these.
Abram goes,
Some
"How many of these are honestly Brittany?" Even Brittany watched the video and laughed at it. She thought it was hilarious.
Because she has said
Just watching
all
a
those
mirror of
things.
herself.
Think of Trey Candy.
I think it was too. It's a funny video. It's a clean
Personality.
video too.
Exactly, it's funny. Please say that again because I'm funny.
No,
I do
you
all
didn't make
things
that
because
video.
it's funny.
The video is funny, not.
Thank you for admitting it. Thank you
We're
guys.
talking about bands. I love how we're on this conversation. On June 28th, which is in a couple weeks,
2 weeks.
Yeah, technically it's a week from Sunday or 2 weeks from Sunday.
a couple weeks it also means two. Couple.
A couple is two. That is true.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Oh, it just made sense because we're a couple. And we're
Guys, this is a college graduate we're speaking with here.
Let me tell you,
You're on the
no
verge.
joke. This is something I just found out this year day. Because my whole life I've always heard people say, when I'm pointing one finger at you, there's three pointed back at me. Have you ever heard that?
yeah.
Yeah, heard that.
One point at you, three's back at me. Well, then somebody said, one's pointing at you, and they go, three is pointing back at me.
Oh, I get it, because your other three fingers are.
Yeah, the three fingers are actually, like if you point to somebody, there's actually three fingers really pointing towards you.
I mean, kind of, not really. I can make my fingers point that way.
Yeah, like
It's
what if I'm
pointed
pointing at you? Like
There's three fingers, your other three fingers are still pointing at you, Brittany.
That's true. Look,
They're
there's
still
three that
pointing
point
at
right at you. Try this.
They'll point
Try
at
this
you.
if you're listening. Point your finger, and you can see your fingers.
So when somebody says,
at you.
I have one point at you and three back at me, it's not just like a random saying. It literally, no, I'm like my three fingers are also pointing back at me. Isn't that weird?
It's weird.
So I thought that was interesting just to kind of go through it.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. Things we did not know. June 28th.
Useless knowledge.
Jordan Family Band is coming to Falmouth, Kentucky, which I'm excited about. Jordan Family Band is a gospel contemporary group. They have some hits called, you better get
Jesus.
Joshua.
25.
Huh?
I don't know what it's called, but yeah, they actually are really good. I'm not good
If
with songs.
you've been on any kind of social media, I promise you have run into a Jordan Family song. I promise you.
And the cool thing is, they're on Apple Music.
They are.
So
My
They're
God is
legit.
faithful. They sing, "My God is faithful."
They're not like that group called Cog.
you better
They
get right.
actually
You
have
better
it.
get
You
right.
better get right. That's what.
That's the one you
oh
were
my
thinking of.
gosh.
You better get right. That's actually a good song.
Get right.
And they have a tour bus. They have a tour bus.
On the geek side. They do have a tour bus, which I'm really excited about. Nice. Black. It's cool, man.
It is all blacked out.
So
It is a
I'm
very
excited about it. It's going to be a really
slick
cool event that we're going to be having here in Falmouth. We were going to have it at the church originally until the virus hit, and then now we're having it at the Griffin Center, which is kind of an open space. And
It's an outdoor
wider.
amphitheater, I believe they call
Amphitheater,
it.
yes. It's wider. A lot more people can fit in there.
But
And
actually, it
still
probably
social
works out
distance.
better. It probably works out better.
It worked out really good because now they can blare it.
Right.
Yeah.
Loud as one.
And they bring in their own speakers and stuff, so I'm excited about it. So we're
We're gonna have
excited. That's
little
June
popsicles
28th,
and
and it's a
water.
free concert.
Free concert.
Is that official? Have we figured all that out?
Well, I called a lady today that, so I now have to call another Shaved Ice today and schedule it. So, but yes, Shaved Ice will happen.
So you did get her?
She's
No,
on
he
vacation.
didn't. She's on vacation, so he's
But
just call someone else.
she gave you another number?
No, I'm just gonna call another company.
There's a guy in Falmouth that does it.
Really? Maybe I'll ask him.
He's right there by Watts.
Oh yeah, I wonder if he has a van to bring.
A food truck?
I don't know, but he has a trailer that he goes in, but I'm sure he could move it.
Yeah, all you
Sure.
need is the table and the ice maker.
All I need is a Shaved
Probably
Ice.
also call Smoke Big, see if they want to hook up something that day.
Yeah.
And then
Local
the
restaurants.
youth we're gonna try to get a bunch of water,
Start tishing
some
it out.
snacks and stuff.
But I think this goes to show with like everything going on and everybody's like, well, our church isn't really doing anything right now. You can still do stuff. You just have to,
I would encourage you to do stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Be creative and do stuff.
Exactly.
Didn't you say that we're the first concert in Kansas
Big
City,
concert.
Kentucky?
Big concert.
First big concert in Kentucky?
The Falmouth Wesleyan Church actually just had the punches on Wednesday,
I don't know who they are.
but it was a little smaller of an act.
Sounds like a call.
We have one of the biggest concerts. The first big concert is coming to Falmouth.
How cool is that? If you want to be a part of it, look up Falmouth, Kentucky on a map.
Free concert,
Free concert.
Meet us.
June 28th. I'm trying to get some of these pastors to come too, but they're like, "Oh, we have church. I really can't miss a day of preaching for this concert that's Christian related."
And free.
I'm like, come on, Dave, just come on over, brother.
It's a free opportunity. Bring your church with you.
I'm making Brittany laugh this whole time. I'm really pumped.
And Brittany says she's the hilarious one.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited about that. It's June 28th. And we're really, and that's not even the only big thing we're doing. So we're doing that. We have Serve Week coming up in July, and then July 26th, which is the first night of our Pelham County Youth Fair. It's going to kick off our Pelham County Youth Fair here in our county. We are bringing in Christian hip hop
Drum roll.
artists.
Blake Whiteley.
What upper? Gosh!
What? I wanted to say it. It's exciting.
Blake
Working
Whiteley.
on it. And you might say, who's Blake Whiteley?
Now, Blake Whiteley is the bigger than Jordan Family Band, bigger than, he's big. He's major.
If you've ever heard of the song Glory Gang, you'll
Glory
know
Gang, New
Blake
Day.
Whiteley.
Wait, he
Turbulence.
sings that song?
Young.
Yes.
Yeah,
He sings Turbulence. That's my favorite.
You should look him up though. He's really good too. Christian hip hop. That's also a free concert.
I was talking to my brother about it. My brother's in a band called Jason Lovin's band.
Shout out.
You guys probably know them as well if you are in the Christian world. But he was saying that every camp that they go to, they always hear a Blake Whiteley song.
Really?
Glory Gang.
Glory Gang, Glory Gang,
But Blake Whiteley's good too. That's
So I'm
also a free
excited.
concert. What's the date on that one again?
I guess I should probably advertise the Glory Gang song just so that
What's
people
the date on that
Noah
one again?
song, yeah,
What's the date?
Turbulence.
What's the date on that one again?
July 26th, that's going to be at 6 p.m. at the Griffin Center as well. It's going to be a free concert. It's going to kick it off the youth fair, which is our big fair. They bring in all the rides and stuff for that week, but that Sunday's always been a faith-centered
Usually it's been a
day.
hymn sing.
It's usually been a hymn sing. This year the Pelham County Cooperative Churches wanted to do something that's really focused on the youth, which I think is wonderful. We don't focus on the youth enough, and so we're bringing in Blake Whiteley. I'm excited about it.
Yes.
So So be in prayer for that.
Please.
You can come to it, show up. These are two really good national touring artists that are going to be in our little town of Fountain. It can be done.
How cool is that?
Music is one of the most, I think, one of the greatest witnessing tools to get people in, because it's you don't have to worry about being preached to. You're going to hear the music, and then you're going to be hearing Christian themed biblical songs. Man, it's just wonderful. Great opportunity to witness people, get people. Here's the other thing: it's important to get some of our younger people to understand that there is an alternative to the music that they listen
Secular
to.
music.
There's alternatives, and good alternatives. And Blake Wiley is going to be able to show us that. You don't have to listen to Post Malone. You can listen to Blake Wiley.
Yes,
He's
and
good.
he's better.
All right. Well,
Any last thoughts?
that's really all I got today.
Final thoughts?
My final thoughts is I just hate the cancel culture. I hate the woke culture. I hate the relevant culture. If I have to see another church get a roundtable discussion with the token black guy of the church, it's going to make me throw up. I've dealt with racism my entire life. I'm biracial. Grew up in a small country town, but I can tell you this: my identity is not based on my skin color. My identity is based on who my Savior is. I am not a victim. I am a victorious child of God, and I will live that way for the rest of my life, regardless of what happens in this world.
Amen to that one.
There's victory in Jesus, so I pray that you are getting into the Word of God, staying away from the news. Did y'all hear something? Somebody put a garbage disposal on?
That was pretty singing, in case you missed it, guys.
So, I'm just kidding. So,
No, you're not.
She's a great singer. Penny's gonna yell at me if I don't. Penny, I think she's a great singer. So, anyway,
That's her mother.
there's all these different things that you can do, and I just pray that you're getting into God's Word, staying away from the news, right?
Turn off your phone this week.
Preaching the gospel, living the gospel. Do
Enjoy,
it. Fast from social media.
Yes.
Maybe we should push for that Sunday.
We should. We should do a
social media
fasting.
fast.
Yes.
Feels good.
You know how awesome that would be? I am one of those people that I'm like, I need to put my phone down, go outside, get some fresh air. Wow, your sermon series goes hand in hand with this. Fresh air.
No pressure, but now I gotta do
Mind
something. All right, I'll make a graphic.
Anyway, our Preaching Young Nation, get a
Start
head
promotion.
start on it.
Yeah, let's get a head start on it. We'll start tomorrow, but we will. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll say, like, even our church page will be like, we're doing a week of fasting.
Let's do it. Sure. Social media fasting.
Don't.
No, you've been. Just keep the social media fast
Oh,
and
my bad.
get off social media.
Maybe we'll do like
Turn off the
a blue
news.
fresh air, like a
Oh, yeah.
North
Genius.
Carolina blue. We'll say put it on here, a fresh air.
I was thinking more Kentucky
fast.
blue.
No, fresh air fast. You don't want to do police officer blue because then we'll get in trouble for that.
That's true.
Love our cops.
We love our cops.
We actually have a very valuable listener who is a police officer.
Two.
Two of them.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
anyway, thank you for listening, guys.
Appreciate you. This is Preaching Young. My name's Abe Crozier.
It's Baker.
I didn't do that today.
What? You didn't do what?
I didn't get to announce my name. My name's Abe Crozier. I'm pastor here at Trinity Baptist Church, Fountain, Kentucky. Preaching Young.
Population. What's the population count?
15,000 in Pendleton. I don't know. I need to find pounds.
And
I'll
my
have that
name's
by next
Brittany
episode.
Fornash. I am the
She said her last name.
administrative assistant.
/ secretary.
Slash.
Youth leader.
/ whatever else.
A good ear to listen to.
A good ear to listen
Slash
to.
that.
I don't listen to ears.
Huh?